So, as said previously, what I need to do now is chamfer this using the power file all the way along both sides so they meet in the middle, and then that will give us a nice point and that will look like a genuine machete. That will give us a cutting edge. So I'm going to do that now with the power file. Hold it this way so I can see where I'm going, so I can come back along the edge, I can see where it is, back to the line I've drawn. Right, well, I'm finished this now. You can see I've put a point all the way down. I don't know if you can see that, but I've actually put it to quite a nice point. But I'm going to sand that back a little bit. You see a bit there at the end just flew out, because plier can do this. But it doesn't matter too much. It's got to look like an old machete, so even if you had like a little mistake like that, just get a file. Which I've got here. And what I'm going to do is just sort of make it look as if it's a bit broken off the end or chipped, or just bring it back round and then finish that bit off with a file. And not go quite to the point so you're not going to lose it so much. And also it makes it a bit safer as well if you're doing it like this. So if you're doing it like this, it is safer, so it's not going to take someone's eye out. And what you can do then, if you need to, you can either just go all the way along, just to level it off a little bit. And I've rounded off just slightly at the end. You can see it comes down to a nice line, but it's going to look like it's been ground for like loads of sharpenings. So don't worry too much about it. Like I said, we're going to sand it as well, and if it's a little bit ragged, that's good. So we're going to put a couple of dinks as well in it, so it looks like it's been like broken in places. And then we can get hold of the emery paper. Just soften that edge. You don't want it too sharp where it joins the main blade part, main body part. So what I'm doing is just softening that a little bit on both sides. You see, and that way it looks like you've got a nice edge, so it's beginning to look like a sharp machete already. So it's beginning to look like a hacking machine, which is what you want when you're fighting off those zombie hordes. Any little kinks in the top, you can see I've got a bit of a bump there, so what I'm going to do is just file that down. Just going to go around it and just refine it a little bit. Level that off, so that's not too bad. Like I said, if you want, you can just put a couple of kinks in this. I mean, you can even do it just by banging it on the bench, so you can put a couple of, like where it's at the top, you put a couple of nicks in it, something like that. If you want, you can use your file and put some nicks in. I've got a square file here, so it looks like you've got a couple of ragged bits in the end like that, where it's been hitting things. Make it look a bit more authentic, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a bit wobbly, as you can see like that. It looks like it's been sharpened lots of times, lots of digs and dents. And it makes it look better when the paint effects are done. So I'm going to wipe this off now, get rid of the rest of the dust, and then we'll move on to doing the paint. The paint I'm going to be using to base coat this is this flat black fast dry enamel paint. You can do this with just a brush and some black ball paint, but you want something quite flat, you don't want anything gloss, because this is going to be the base coat as well, and so it's got to look like the old steel underneath. Once it's gone over the top with the acrylics, it'll bring the metal out, and what we're doing is basically filling some grain so it looks like it's old when it comes through more. So I'm going to give probably 2 or 3 coats of this, let it dry for about 45 minutes to an hour in between each one. So I'll start now, and then when you see it again, it'll all be black and it'll be covered. As with any paints, especially spray, if you're going to do this, do it in a well ventilated area, because this can be a bit nasty. So I'll let that dry and then do another couple of coats. Right, well, as you can see, this is all black now, so it's all been sprayed, it's all coloured up. So this is all the base coat now, so it's all nicely done. And all I'm going to do is get some masking tape and I'm going to lay it along the edge, just up from where we chamfered it to make the point. So I'm going to follow this along, don't be too exact, but quite close, and then just cut it round the end so it curves. So we're just left with like the blade bit at the end showing. Then I'm going to show you how we're going to start adding the paint effects using the silver acrylic paint to look like the steel coming through where it's been sharpened. So I'm going to start doing that now. What you can do is lay on little bits at a time. So you just, the good thing about masking tape, you can actually bend it and pull it in, but so you don't have to worry about being too exact. So I'm going to work my way along, get this done like this, and then I'll show you when it's done how we start painting. Right, so what I've got here is silver colour acrylic paint, just stuff from Hobbycraft, a local hobby shop. And what I'm going to do, put some in here and use decent sized brush. This is about 12mm, so like a 1/2 inch brush. I'm just going to go along the edge of the actual blade to give it some definition. So we hold down, what we're going to do is start where the tape is and we just pull down. And if you can see there, just pull it in like that. And the reason we pull down so we don't go under the tape too much. We're going to be putting a couple of coats of this on. Well, as you can see now, I've been nearly all the way along this. I'm just finishing off just some little bits, just touching in and making sure I go in all the same direction all the way down, so it looks like grind lines on metal. So I'm just gently feathering it in. You can see here at the end, I'm just making sure it's nice and even. Try and hold this so you can see it better. Making sure the ends are touched in as well, the corners, so we're all going in the same direction. So the other side as well, you can see that's feathered that way. Now let that dry and take the tape off and have a look after that. Right, so as you can see, I've gone round all of the blade now. So I don't know if you can see there, it's all angled. Done all of the actual paint lines, so it all follows. So it's nice and shiny. It's quite a good silver paint, this acrylic. So it follows like a grind line. And the technique we're going to be doing now is called dry brushing. That's why I've got this piece of white paper here. So I'm going to be dipping the brush in the paint and then brushing a lot of the paint off and then applying it to the surface and going along, so you see black's coming through, so it shows that like metal's come through and it's worn down. So we start off by just dipping it in there, paint some of it off, and then what we're doing is scrubbing it into the surface. Okay, don't be frightened to if you've got black showing through or anything like that, because you want bits of black showing through, you want it a lot duller, so you're scrubbing it in. So you're dabbing it, scrubbing it, like that. So do that, wipe plenty of it off, and then just scrub. So you can see here that do this, and you can even just rub a bit with your finger. Just get it in there. So you want to scrub it in so you get some black coming through. So you can see at the end here. Some of it off. So you can see where you're missing some of the black pieces. Don't worry about that, because then you're going to speckle it with the rusty colour paint as well, so it looks like there's rust. So just dig it in. So go along and leave some of the black coming through, so that is ideal. So as you can see there's black showing through. It's a bit rough, you can see it a bit dark, so it looks like it's old metal. Don't forget to go along the top, brush it off, but then if you want, what you can do is dab it along. Don't forget, this will be more black because there's not much shine going on this, so you can just dab it in with the brush, run your finger along like that, so you can see it looks like it's wearing down in different places. Get a lot of the paint off the brush. Scrub it in. If you make a slip, don't worry, just get the paint off and scrub it back in. But keep it going in like that, and then just rub this along. So you can see here I'm just going along the edge. Even if you want to, just get a bit of paint in your finger, just run it along the edge, push it in so you can see it's a bit black, a bit of metal, so you can see it looks shiny through, so you're getting the effect of like an old metal blade, loads of bits worn down, things like that. So we turn it over, see I've got some paint there, and then so you might think it was silly to mask out and get the line, but it's better if you have a definite grind line along the edge, and then you can see where the paint's above it, so you do get a better effect. It's only a little thing, but it does work rather well. So that's about all I'm going to do to that. So leave black showing through. So I don't know if you can see, it gives it a shiny edge, bit of a shine, bit of black showing through. So it looks a bit more realistic. Dabbing that into there, so just going up to the edge. What I'm going to do, I might even mask it out later and just go, but it's going to, as I said, the edge is going to be covered with leather, so it won't matter too much going into the handle. But if you want to just dab a bit on the end, so a bit of paint there, just rub that through. So this acrylic, so I say it washes straight off your skin, but that then gives us a rough ground metal looking finish. So you run down like a stone down that, sharpening it all the time. So I say it works quite well. When that's dry, I'll show you how to do the rust effect.